Seven names, no games as I run it down the line. We got Kenny Ken, put 100 on the tees with the streak for the cash. He ESPN. Seth Curry with the shot. The prodigy. In reality, he's more like Seth, but he's all we got. Up next is Gentleman Jack, better known as Junior Blue. We told him not to do it anyway, but he did what he do. To his right is Devin, that dude, L-Dad or Dirt Ass Dan. Just don't ask him a question, cause then he'll answer your question with another question, and then he'll add another question on top of that question. Damn. And I'm Red O, the Buck Wild Problem Child.
Flow Butter, aka John Cutter.
It's the league ambassadors, and we playing to win. At the 2-yard line, and make no mistake, we running it in. Pete Carroll, we see you.
Thank you for visiting 32 Kings Road, hosted by the League Ambassadors. I'm Ambassador Kenny Ken, and it is my pleasure to be here today with my brothers. This is episode 30, season 2 of our show, 32 Kings Road. And on today, we are going to discuss a scorching hot NFL.
Burning.
No history segment. We just going right because there's a whole lot of shit to talk about. As a reminder, you can follow us everywhere on social media. Our handle is @TheLeagueAM. Please visit our website, theleagueam.com. Check out Diplomatic Immunity. If you got something to say and you're a fan of sports, please comment on our blog spot. Shout out to diplomat Eric Kottman, who's been making some entries for us as far as the UFC goes. Also, check out, click on previews on the top right-hand side. Check out Chef Curry's game previews, game picks, his decrees. Also, please visit our YouTube channel, League Ambassadors. Let's get the show going,
Shout
fellas.
out to Nutso, too, man, holding down Diplomat.
Yes, Chief Diplomat Nick. Holla at your boy. Junior Blue, welcome back, sir.
Thank you, I'm back, I'm back.
And with no shave.
No shave.
All right, what you sipping on, brother?
I'm sipping on this Maker's Mark.
Boom.
The Kenyon. And I'm also sipping on how this Miami cocaine cowboy life is 99-0. Undefeated.
Foreshadowing.
That's what we do here. We foreshadow.
Kev, what you sipping on, man?
I'm sipping on what's left of my birthday Hennessy.
You didn't finish that.
I didn't because it got
had
real.
2 more bottles before that.
I was gonna.
It was like 3 Hennessy white bottles up there before.
They're gone now. But now I'm sipping on the fact that I don't know if anyone got a chance to see it tonight, and I know we've been very selective with who we invite to the cookout, the famous cookout. But
I saw it.
I think Mr. Marshall Mathers has earned an invitation to at least do the valet parking at the cookout.
He's definitely doing the valet parking at the cookout for sure.
I've yet to see it. I'm upset.
Red O, what you sipping on?
I'm sipping on little Henny, chasing that rabbit.
Just don't chase the horse.
Just don't.
Trying to get that tail.
Just don't chase the horse.
Hi, Hennessy.
Hi, Chris Forrester.
You tell a brother not to do something, he gonna do it. But what I want y'all to do is to tell me if you know the name of this, the word of the definition I'm about to read.
Oh, God.
The action or process of gradually reducing the strength or effectiveness of someone or something through sustained attack or pressure.
Oppression?
Attrition. As in the bears and injuries. We have lost the war of attrition.
Okay, well.
I would say that we're losing that war as well.
And it's great that you guys were the two to speak on that, because I've got some teases for you.
What you sipping on, brother?
I'm definitely sipping on I'm drinking Maker's Mark. Let's start there. We're 7-4-1. We actually had a push last week in the game line with Baltimore and Oakland. It's been an interesting season, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the show, but we're going to press forward. with some recommendations for you. We'll start with our ambassador battle. We've got the Chicago Bears and the Baltimore Ravens battling out this Sunday. Two really bad offenses, two really good defenses. So take the under. Tease the game line up from 42 to 49 and take the under.
So are we going to do a gentleman's bet?
Yeah, let's. Whoever loses has to do 10 seconds Hennessy.
Oh my God! On the show for sure.
Oh, I was thinking Sunday, but
5 seconds Hennessy.
Yeah,
I'm not doing 10 seconds.
you're gonna. His esophagus is going to be destroyed.
Double fisted.
that's
I
how.
remember what happened the last time I did that.
And that's how strongly I feel about this dub.
Your trash can remembers the last time.
Oh my God!
How deep is your love?
San Francisco and Washington. We've got the Kyle Shanahan Bowl. Washington is favored to win by 9.5. Tease that line down to 2.5. They'll win definitely by more than 2 points. And then finally, we've got the New York Giants at the Denver Broncos. The line is 40.5. Tease that line up to 47.5 and take the under, because I'm pretty sure the Giants are going to score a grand total of 0 points. Put $100 down to thank the league ambassadors. Dad, what are you sipping on, sir?
I'm sipping on this Blue Moon right here.
Blue Moon.
Yes, sir. Keeping it light today. And what I'm sipping on is there a changing of the guard? And what I mean by that is, if you take a look at the top two leaders in passing this year, you wouldn't guess by the way that the games are going that it's actually Tom Brady and Carson Palmer.
Right.
So stats don't always tell the
story.
whole story, because this shit has been a farce the first 5 weeks. What I mean by that is they don't look the same. And I can say the same for a bunch of other perennial good to great quarterbacks.
Big Ben, we looking at you. But we going to get to that.
For double time. And also the running back position, which Kev alluded to a few shows ago, saying that there's a resurgence, but there's something very interesting that I'm seeing there. So I wanted to start by, mentioning some things about these two positions and some players and open it up for discussion. So let's start with the QBs, where everything starts with. So we have the old QBs in the league. We have Breeze, Big Ben, Rivers, Eli. Hello, 2004 draft.
Yeah.
And then we also have the newbies, Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, Jameis Winston, Dak Prescott, Deshaun Watson, who actually is second in the league in touchdowns right now.
Yes, he is.
Because he threw them all in one game.
Hey, it still counts.
It's 2 games, actually.
Right.
Just
But,
saying.
and then conversely, you look at the running back position, which has been, devalued, but now is extremely valuable, I think. And to look at the top 5 rushers in the league, 3 of them are rookies. Dalvin Cook is number 2. He's number 3.
He's number 6 now.
Right, but going in, right. So,
Steadily dropping.
but because he's not,
Because he's not coming back.
But then you have Mr. Hunt.
Yes,
who's leading the
Kareem
league in
Hunt.
rushing.
Yes.
Out of
You have
nowhere.
Fournette,
Toledo.
and then not even mentioning Ezekiel Elliott, who's still there. So like
Mr. 4 yards
Right.
per carry, literally.
right, when they decide to give him the ball.
Oh, God. Keep going.
2nd and 1. Okay. So have we reached a sweet spot in the NFL where there is a transitional period?
We're definitely in the transitional G spot. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I've seen some transitional G spots, and they weren't this big. Like there are times when the league.
We ain't shit.
What?
Go ahead.
There's times when the league is looking for stars. Like this is one of those rare times.
Follow us on social media to figure out how Omar can see transitional G spots.
This is when the league has stars to replace old stars. And that's something where the league is like, okay, they have to love this, because there are sometimes where there's aging stars and there's no one stepping up yet. You know what I mean? Like, so there are stars to replace the stars. There are people coming up. So
Kev?
I feel like.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Omar, you can definitely speak on this. What we saw from last weekend, there's no such thing as more victories in the NFL, but we saw Deshaun Watson shine in a losing effort. We saw what Mitch Trubisky can finally do in a losing effort. And I think that's actually good for the league, that despite, those two weren't able to make the big play to win the game for their teams, we saw that they could very well be the forefront as far as quarterbacks go, going down the line for the next 7 to 10 years.
Yeah, I definitely think that we are seeing a changing of the guard. It's definitely happening. It's not necessarily, to your point, Kevin, translating into wins per se. Unless, Kansas City, I think Kareem Hunt has a shit ton to do with their success. But overall, it's not translating wins and losses, but we are seeing the talent starting to emerge, and he's definitely
helping them out because we always talk about Alex Smith and how he's the game manager. He's actually gone down the field some this year, but he has 11 touchdowns, 0 picks right now.
Y'all
important.
motherfuckers. Y'all dig in and y'all just can't do it. You can't let it go. Like that motherfucker balling. Stop it.
No, I didn't say he wasn't. I said
he's my MVP.
He's the MVP of the league right now.
I know. No. His praise should be effusive because what he's doing is he got smacked in the face.
That's a $12 word.
He got smacked in the face and he responded.
And then I think if you look at on the opposite side, you mentioned the 2004 draft. Eli and Phillip Rivers played against each other Sunday. Two teams that didn't win the game until they had to play that game.
Bum fight.
Bum fight. Both of their careers at this point, it's kind of depressing to see them two. We know what they're capable of, but they don't have the supporting cast around them to even be relevant in the NFL right now.
Well, one of them no longer has a supporting cast because they all left in that same game, which we will get to.
We definitely will get into that. I have a couple questions here to finish this off, and we can obviously go from there. But out of the older guard, who has the best chance of actually winning a Super Bowl? And I'm mentioning the four that I mentioned, and you can throw in Brady.
Yeah, I mean it's Brady. Yeah,
with that defense, I guess. I mean he's still. I mean everybody else is in.
He has the easiest path through the AFC because everybody's injured. So if it's about Kansas City in the playoffs, and Kansas City sucks in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't. With specifically with Breeze, I don't see it happening.
He's also 8 touchdowns, no picks this year.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't see it happening unless. Typically with teams like that, if they don't have a strong defense, they've got to be winning the turnover margin or the turnover battle. That's not happening. That's actually happening with Detroit. Eli, enough said, and we're going to talk about that
0
a little bit
wins.
later. And then who else did you? Is it Phillip Rivers? Is the other
win.
one?
Yeah.
So between Phillip and Eli, they have 1 win.
Yeah.
Right.
What are you going to say, Kev?
I would still put Ben in there. If you take out Brady as an obvious choice, I would put Big Ben in there because what they're going through right now is kind of similar to what happened last season. They started out 4-1, then ended up 4-5, and then ran the table the rest of the year. Ended up in the AFC Championship game.
Kev. That's a whole topic, bro.
We gonna get there.
We gonna get there.
Just saying.
All right, let's get out of here. Let's get to our Brexit boot bag winner and Junior Blue, please. You had already started. You had alluded to this in your sipping on. Let's bring it on home. Who's our Brexit boot bag winner this week?
The winner this week is no other than the Miami Dolphins former offensive line coach Chris Forrester, who obviously went down to Miami and liked T-Pain songs too much because he fell in love with a stripper. And then
Talk about it.
what he does, he's about to have one of his team meetings. He decides to line up what they're calling a white substance.
No, we know what it is. It's cocaine,
We
baby.
know what it is. It's that horse. He lined it up, roll up his $20 bill.
Oh my God! It was a 20.
It was
That's
a
kind of
20.
disappointing, right?
Well,
He's a coach. It's got to be at least $100 bill.
He's a good offensive line coach at that.
$3 million.
He was. He's about to be the best high school line coach ever.
So then what he does is he makes this video to this stripper. We'll call her Sunshine for story's sake.
Mm-hmm.
And he's telling her things like, I remember when we used to get high. I'm gonna miss the times we got high. I know you got this baby right now. You gotta keep this. But I do miss you getting high. He also says, I wish this cocaine was on you so I could sniff it off of you. And you know what? What seals this story up for me is her reason why she released the tape. It was her protest
Hashtag protest, baby.
to inequalities in the NFL.
Protest truly takes on many different forms.
Exactly. But one thing I'm sure of,
And one of it is snatch.
before she released this tape, I'm sure Chris Forrester was thinking this right here.
Hip Hop Rich Richie. Yeah, look, I ain't never coming home no more. Take it easy.
And that is our Brexit boot bag winner for the week. Golf clap.
Oh my God.
This is the wrong time to do that shit to Kenya.
Listen.
Oh my God.
I feel like
Oh my God.
white dudes do cocaine every day, B. Why did he record it?
And send it to her.
I can't. I can't.
Sunshine, baby. I ain't coming
Toss it up into the air.
All you can say is only in the NFL.
Hey, they okay with it.
Hey, and tell them where that's from, just in case they haven't seen it.
That's Harlem Nights.
That's definitely Harlem Nights. If you have not seen the Harlem Nights, I want you to stop what you're doing because we will be here. That's fine.
Okay,
we will be here. You can download us, subscribe to us. You can catch it later. Go watch Harlem Nights.
And you will know who Sunshine is after that one scene, because he ain't coming home.
Ever.
Oh, man.
Take it easy.
All right, well, let's keep the train going. Let's just jump right into it. You know, this really was, I think this is going to go down as one of the biggest weeks in recent NFL history. And it was so big to where we just said, you know what, we're just going to have a whole bunch of football tea. So we got our cups ready. Mm-hmm. We want you to get ready. We just got a lot of hot topics that we going to blow through. There's nothing more than... See what I did there?
Look. Oh man.
Yeah, so let's go with our football tea, and we'll keep it football related, but it's definitely going to go off the field as well. We'll start here. You got the San Francisco 49ers, 0-5. The Cleveland Browns, sad to say for me personally because I had high hopes for them, 0-5. Mm-hmm. The New York Football Giants, who, if you'd asked anyone on planet Earth,
including us,
exactly.
I had them in the NFC Championship game.
No one would have predicted that they would also be 0-5. So the question I have for you guys, and I'll start with you, Kev, is which of these three teams, because I feel like it's going to happen. I think it's only right, actually. It's karma. It's going to happen. One of these three teams is going to go 0-16. Kev, which one is for you?
For me, it's Cleveland, and I know that's the easy choice, but just ride with me on this. I feel like the Giants will get lucky at some point and catch someone on that bad day.
Wait a minute. It's funny you use the word catch because they don't have any receivers. So how is that going to happen?
I said
maybe they
get
can
lucky enough to catch somebody.
Maybe they can rely on their running game. Oh wait.
Which they don't have either. And I'm looking at their schedule. I don't see one team that Cleveland could just remotely get close to beating. Omar, I love you, but the only team that I would think they could beat would be the Bears. But with Trubisky, I don't even see that happening if he's as
but that's
productive
in
as he was
Chicago,
last night.
though.
They're gonna go 0-16. Like that's a fact.
So I'm going to counter that, and I'm only going to count not because I said that they wouldn't be booked for the bottom in our NFL preview show, but realistically speaking, they are the healthiest team of the three. San Francisco don't have a secondary, and the Giants don't have receivers. So you figure with health, they can get a win in there somewhere. For me, the team that's going to go over is whoever loses on November the 12th between San Francisco and the New York Football Giants, which that game I believe is in San Francisco. That don't mean shit. Mm-hmm. But whoever loses in that game November 12th, I think is the team that's going to go 0-16. Because Cleveland's healthy. At least they're healthy. And you know what? I've seen Kevin Hogan out. You guys, Baltimore boys, have also seen him because Deshaun, he had the headache. Mm-hmm. Kevin Hogan, he played well.
He's good for 3 plays.
Well, he played well in relief of Deshaun Kaiser on Sunday. He played well in relief against you guys. The game got interesting when he came in. They're healthy everywhere. They got Duke Johnson. That defense is not great, but they've got pieces. I think Cleveland finds a win somewhere. It's either San Francisco or the Giants. Redo?
2 teams are going 0-16.
Of course.
Giants and Cleveland. San Francisco does. I believe they want to win. I can see those veterans giving up and just resting the rest of the season because they want to play next year. Mm-hmm. I can see the Giants giving up on that coaching staff. Yeah. I can see San Francisco still fighting.
You mean you see the Giants veterans giving up on the coach? Bob McAdoo is a dead man walking.
Hey, I'm gonna sip my football
Dad,
tea over
No,
here.
yeah, I think the Giants' season is completely over.
Yes.
They had something more to play for than the other two teams, so they're heartbroken, and they lost their sweetheart. He's gone.
Keep going. Keep going.
You know what I'm saying?
Keep going. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Keep going.
He's the face of the league. He's gone. They have nothing to play for. Why would I mean?
Double entendre.
But I do believe I do believe that it is Cleveland, just because for the simple fact the Giants will do some punk ass shit like beat the Chiefs at home.
Triple entendre.
With who though, guys?
They'll
with
beat
who?
they'll beat the Cowboys.
What? Why?
Because
of karma?
Because
Jerry Jones is a slave owner? What?
Basically. Let's go with that. We can go with that. No, actually, I honestly think that it's going to be the 49ers. We talked about it during the season. They still lack talent.
Yeah.
And one thing, although they don't have wide receiver talent,
Yeah.
they still
No,
have
Pierre
talent.
Garçon's still there.
The
He's on
Giants-
my fantasy team.
Les chuckled. Like for
He
real.
did
like,
chuckle. He did.
The Giants still have talent on the defense, and I feel like they're gonna come to San Francisco, and I feel like they will beat San Francisco. Now, will they get 2 wins? No.
They only need one.
Kev?
I don't know. It feels weird to say this, but I think the 49ers are the most reliable team out of those 3. I mean, you take out their week 1 blowout loss, the last 4 games
They've been in it.
played were all close. The last 2 went to overtime. They'll probably get more wins this season than the Browns and the Giants combined. I believe in them, as hard as that is to say. That they won't go 0-16.
I'm with you.
They're on the uptick where
Yeah.
where the others are, you know.
Wah.
Cleveland's like this and Giants are going down.
Giants fell off a cliff.
They jumped.
All right. Hot topic number 2. Mr. Cam Newton. Now, before...
Seems like an eternity ago.
Hey, man, it seems so long ago. And before the cocaine episode in Miami, Cam was definitely going to be our Brexit bootbag winner. And then,
Yay.
99-0.
cocaine is 99-0. There it is. Cam Newton, at the press conference, he was asked a question by a female reporter, Jordan Rodriguez.
Jordan Rodriguez.
Jordan Rodriguez.
Yeah.
There you go.
You had
Thank
the
you.
Deke. You just didn't have
Deke in the right spot.
Whoa, he had the
Look at Kevin! He was asked a question. She asked a seemingly innocuous question, actually, about, Devin Funchess and route running.
He lost his fucking mind.
And he forgot where he was. And we don't need to beat it into the ground. What he did was very sexist, very dismissive, which for me was the more interesting part. Get into that later. But then he came around and had a great game. 26 of 33, 355 yards, 3 touchdowns. Carolina went on the road.
Kobe.
Which is just a continuation of what he's been doing.
Beat Detroit Lions, yeah. What's his problem, though, Omar?
He wears women's clothes.
Is that what it is?
Something's wrong with the man. I don't understand. I don't get it. The man loves to wear what else? Ones called rompers, and whatever. Let's just.
I was just gonna say maturity. Like, he hasn't figured that out yet. Like,
But they said that when he got drafted, that was
right,
his problem,
and he's 27, 28.
It's
How old
still
is he?
maturity, Dev?
Yeah, it is maturity, because if you look at the comments that he made, now he could have turned it actually to a positive if he would have worded it properly.
He not that smart.
But he's not that smart,
And that's my problem with him.
And it's not just the words that he said.
don't know that he not that smart.
Did you see his facial expressions?
Yeah.
And
What are you doing?
it's actually very unfortunate because Cam Newton might be the most physically gifted person to ever play the quarterback position, and he is.
That's an argument, but go ahead.
Well, I said might.
Okay.
He's up there.
He's got all the physical gifts, but
Yeah,
all the physical gifts he got mentally, he's missing everything.
Those gifts stop at the neck.
Hey, Kev, from the neck down.
Listen, I hate to admit this, but like Devin was saying, I feel like I get what he was trying to say,
I'm listening.
but he didn't
So
say
is
it.
everybody
and
else.
And,
No,
and
no,
look,
no.
it is based out of ignorance, but it's also he's not the most loquacious brother in the world. He didn't graduate from Kenyon University, so he can't.
There is an
He
actual
can't
Kenyon
spin
University.
a phrase the way
Actual
you did.
college,
But no,
because he came back.
But hold on. But I want to stay there. What was he trying to say, Kev?
Before you say that, I didn't say that. I thought that he could have spun a different way. I don't think that's where he was going.
What was he trying to say?
Don't ask me to speak for him. But because when he said it, I cringed. I was like, ugh, I don't think that's what he. But I feel like he even said this. He was trying to compliment her. But again, because he must have forgot where he was, it didn't come out right. And it definitely wasn't a compliment. It was offensive. I felt the same way.
He said he tried to do it in a sarcastic way. And like you said, he's not.
Well, basically,
Only a stupid motherfucker can't be sarcastic.
basically, his compliment to her was a compliment to Dak.
Well, I think that's just
Because
hilarious.
Dak got that check.
Which is racist, and that's just my opinion.
What else was they gonna do?
They had
They were
to.
in a no-win situation.
We're talking about the we that we're talking about Dannon and how they jumped off the cam boat and then they got Dak Prescott
because of that fist.
Here's the thing that's interesting. We'll keep going though.
And we're all little cams right now because we're a bunch of little 5-year-olds.
Here's the thing that was interesting for me, right? Is that his reaction to her, it actually shined a light, and it's actually relevant to us, right? Mm-hmm. It shined a light with a thing that you will experience in sports and in athletics, and that is the fact if you didn't play the game, or if you didn't play it to the level that I played it at, how can you question me or ask questions or even offer a critique or have an opinion on what it is that I'm doing? And honestly, even for athletes that transition into broadcasting, they experience the same thing because it's like, how can you have a basketball player offer commentary on football when you never played basketball? Well, so a lot of what his energy was about, and he said it to her because she talked about how she went up to him after the press conference, and
said better.
And it didn't get better, and she actually he said to her basically, well, if you really understand routes, you know more about football than most of the reporters that I've talked to. So this era, as much as it was sexist, it was also condescending, but it shines a light on an issue that reporters, sports professionals, that people have to deal with, where that is as much an issue as it was about him going at her because she was a female asking questions.
That's where I was wondering where you were going, because it's like, okay, that's their job and he should know better.
No, but the thing is and that's my point. He's not the only one, and it's not just limited to your sex. It's also, like I said, you have professional athletes.
Yeah, I was going to go that route because if
Exactly.
you're looking at a middle-aged, bald, fat, short dude trying to critique you,
right?
But you don't really hear that much. It doesn't get out as much. But I guess you kind of look at the numbers game. There aren't that many female reporters as there are.
It's just how you put things, because Popovich, what's New England's coach?
Bill Belichick. They do the same thing.
But they're not sexist when they're doing it.
No,
there's a way to do it.
It's still, but the point is, you're right. They may not be sexist, but it's still condescending, because at the end of the day, these people that work in sports media, they are professionals.
Right.
So they deserve the respect as a professional.
Yes.
And especially in this day and age where you have access to all 22 film, so you can you can see coaches' film, you can see the game from a coach's perspective. That respect is they still have to fight and earn that respect.
I think they're prepared for condescension, though. They're okay with that. I mean, they may not like it, but they're prepared for that. He crossed the line of something else.
Well, she's also prepared to be sexist, clearly, because she was racist. But keep going, Kevin. What were you gonna say?
Oh man.
So if you can dish it, you need to be able. And I'm not making an excuse for it.
Hey, Twitter.
But when you talk about being prepared, which is what you use, then judge not lest you be judged. So that's for you, Dev. So. That's the Bible verse. Mm-hmm. So it's like, everybody is not going to be mature or developed or advanced enough. I just thought it was an interesting moment because it wasn't just about the sexism, but I think it was an opportunity to show that as professionals in sports media, there's other things that they sort of have to overcome. Kev?
Yeah, and I think we can all agree that he was definitely wrong. And the sad part about this is that lucky for Cam Newton, but unfortunate for the rest of the world, is that when you win, all else is forgiven. So
Yeah. What are you going to say, Redo?
Only with the league ambassadors will we go from snatch to a Bible verse. Hashtag the network studios.
All right. Moving on to the next hot topic. Big Ben Roethlisberger.
Shit.
Now, it's one thing. Everybody has a bad day at the office. He had 5 interceptions. He completely fucked me up because I started him and got -4
Hey, he
in
wouldn't
fantasy.
stop saying his name on Sunday.
But then after the game, he says, I don't know. Maybe I just don't have it anymore. Now, Mike Tomlin and Ben himself on his weekly radio show come out and they chalked it up to, it's a bad day, it was frustrating, you caught me right after the game, But for the last year now, Ben has been openly talking about retirement. He's been hinting at retirement. He's been asking a question. The question that I have for you guys is, are you buying the excuse or the response that, hey, you just caught me at a bad time after a bad game and that's what I said? Or do you think that there is something more? I'll start with you, Junior Blue.
It's definitely something more. And because the last two summers he's talked about retirement.
Mm-hmm.
So he already has one foot out the door. So he's just getting closer and closer to making that final decision.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely more. It's not just a bad day at the office. I'm thinking about leaving this game, period.
And so that affects you because,
like they say, football is like boxing. If you have one foot out the door, you're already done.
right. Dad?
Man, fuck Ben. I've seen him come back from the dead more often than not. We'll go into a Ravens Steelers week where, Ben tore his ACL. He's not playing, and the fucker comes back with 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. I do believe that there's something there, but I won't believe the shit until he files his papers.
Okay, but would you say that the fact that because everything you talked about was more physical. So if he's somewhere else, wouldn't that then affect his performance and thus negatively affect the team?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they haven't been the offense that we expected them to be this year. And he, even in that same interview, took all that on himself.
Mm-hmm.
He said it starts and ends with him. I mean, granted, you have, the dope smoker that didn't come to, camp.
Le'Veon.
So, and he hasn't gotten off yet. Well, he got off against us, but I mean, like, he isn't doing what he normally does.
Right.
But he's the leader of that team. He's the face of that franchise. And their defense isn't good enough to carry him playing subpar. Mentally, he's very strong mentally. Because we've seen him do it from time and time again. So it's hard for me being a rival of his to actually take it at face value.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying, because he's done it so many times.
Redo?
I actually think there's something else going on. I think it was used as a message. To tell you the truth,
You think it's a cry for help?
No. Well,
For what?
I think it's more of he's not with the bullshit that's going on in the locker room and on the sidelines. I really truly believe Ben is like, I'm not with this, and he doesn't like what's going on. And so now when he throws 5 interceptions, which I don't think he did on purpose, I just think when a reporter asks him a question and he uses it to send a message to ownership saying, hey, look, well, shit, all right, you with that? Then I'm out of here.
That's interesting. Kev?
Because Ben is smart.
Look, I pray to Black Baby Jesus that Ben Roethlisberger stops playing football. But I look at the comments that he made over the summer. The day he said them, I call bullshit, because Ed Reed used to do that shit to us all the time because he didn't want to be in training camp. Come back, 9 interceptions, win Defensive Player of the Year, and we forget about it. I think Ben's statements after the game was a result of them sticking a microphone in his face just moments after he played the worst game of his career. That, coupled with what happened last week with Antonio Brown, struggles of that team, I think he said it out of frustration. But they're 3-2. The Ravens are 3-2. He ain't going nowhere. At least not this year.
Okay. This is becoming, literally, this could be a hot topic every week, but injuries. Big time injuries.
Attrition.
So we'll start with Odell Beckham in New York. And the question I have for you guys, and I'll go to you, Dad, is it the Giants' fault? Did they push him back too soon? He sprained his ankle in the high ankle sprain in the preseason game, and then he comes back 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, and a grotesque fracture of his ankle.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I know you want to talk about the tears.
No.
Both times.
No.
But when you
I was gonna let Omar do that.
And the angel on his shoulder.
Whoa. I already called him sweetheart. But
yo, what the fuck was that?
what I was gonna say is I don't think it's the Giants' fault. I think he won't come back too soon, but there was no amount of rehabbing
Oh my God.
that would have. You got to put your head on it though.
You got to put your head on him.
There's no amount of rehabbing that would have stopped
Omar is out of
that
control.
ankle. That was gross.
It was gross.
Yeah.
So no.
That will be a
No.
screenshot.
Okay.
As long as
Kaz?
we
around
put
the
it,
world.
as long as we put it next to the other one, the real.
Yeah,
I don't know what it's gonna be.
I don't
next
think that had much. Oh, go ahead, Les. No, go ahead.
No, go. You go right ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say I don't think it had much to do with him coming back early. It was just a freak landing, ugly injury. You can't prevent stuff like that.
All right.
Yeah, it wasn't because of the Giants. I mean, that looked like the injury that Terrell Owens had.
First of all, he's not the type of person that's going to be rushed back. That's not happening.
All right.
No, that's real shit. Like no, and his personality.
Omar, I've known you too long.
No. I have other shit to say, but that point was real. He's not going to be rushed back.
He's
by
the type that
Giants.
has to, when he's on the field, he got to be 100%.
Yes.
To show out. To
He
do what
would rather
does.
risk the ire of the fans than not come back healthy.
Right.
J.J. Watt, and this hurts me because I know how talented the dude is. But this is going to be now the second year in a row where he has a season-ending injury. And the question's got to be asked because he started out on fire. First three years, maybe 4 years in the league, he was on pace to be one of the greatest defensive players ever. Is he going down the cliff now? Is this it for him?
He broke his leg with basically no contact.
I didn't know that he even broke his leg. I think everybody thought that it was an ACL, like a knee injury, and then to find out that he broke his leg.
With no contact.
All I know is on TV, it looked like his best friend had got shot.
Dev,
He looked.
I think Dev's
devastated.
got something to say about this.
So, in 2009, an article from the Scientific American, it states players who took the drugs, talking about PEDs, suffered more disc herniations and injuries to their knees.
What?
Miss
Elbows.
what? Miss what? Huh?
It's a Kenyon word.
Disc
Herniations?
herniations.
Yes.
Oh,
Thank
it's
you.
That shit.
First of all, it sounded like one word.
Disc herniations.
Got
You
it.
fucked us all up with
Yeah.
that one.
Injuries to their knees,
Okay.
elbows,
Uh-huh.
necks, spines, feet, toes, and ankles than those who did not use roids.
Okay.
His injuries started in 2015.
Keep going. I know where you're going.
He's broken a hand, 2 torn abs, 3 torn abductor muscles, and he did herniated disc twice. 2016, he went surgery for his back, and then now he did a tibial plateau fracture. So I say that because it's always been out there, and not to mention that his teammate, which is a side note, Brian Cushing,
Is on the shit.
who is linked to PEDs.
He ain't linked. He's connected.
Right.
They got a close relationship.
10 game suspension next year. He has always been injured, and he's torn his ACL, broke his fibula, and tore his FCL and MCL. Those are all of the injuries that were mentioned in that report.
First of all, FCL, I don't even know what that is.
Fibula
Oh,
cruciatus ligament. Fuck you.
FCL?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be better off saying fuck you. He tore his fuck you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's all I got to say.
So no. I'm gonna translate for you. He's on the roids,
yeah.
and the chickens have come home to roost.
He got paid, though.
But he's a baller, though.
Most people are on the roids. Lala Zeta was a beast, right? He left.
And then he died.
Matthew Stafford. The Detroit Lions are 3-2. He had a rough day at the office. Hurt the ankle, hurt the hamstring. Yesterday on his radio show, which, by the way, all these quarterbacks with radio shows is really interesting. When asked if he was going to play Sunday, he said, "I don't know." how long can the Lions afford to not have Matthew Stafford play? They play the Saints this week. Kev?
About as long as Tom Savage was the Texans quarterback. It's a very, very short amount of time.
Enough said.
Hey. I got a trivia.
It was
Go, Kev. No, go.
okay. Now I was gonna say it was hard to watch because he was under pressure all day. I think he got sacked like 6 times, hurt his hamstring, his ankle. But that dude is tough, man. He hung in there and almost pulled off another fourth quarter comeback.
He's
He's
too transcendent.
Transcendent.
Don't even come to me.
Here's I will never do that.
Let's move on.
Sandusky.
Here's a question though. Here's a question. Who is Detroit's backup quarterback? Anybody know?
Oh, fuck, who is it?
No one.
Charlie Batch.
That's
Orlovsky.
If we didn't have a problem upstairs, that was really funny. Jake Rudock, quarterback from Michigan.
Don't know who that is.
He was a rookie last year. This is his second year. He hasn't played yet in the NFL. So I think, Kevin, you're right on when you say they got about a half without Stafford.
Yeah. Man.
All right. The juicy.
Yeah, we got about.
We got Jerry Jones, Jamel Hill, Mike Pence, NFL anthem policy change. In order. Jerry Jones, he came out and he said, listen, if you don't stand for the anthem, you're not playing, which is interesting for an owner to say, but he said it. Jamel Hill, in response to that, ushered out a series of tweets and was like, hey, get at the advertisers, get at the money.
Suggested.
She suggested it, but a great suggestion, by the way. Mike Pence, on a day where he is an avid Colts fan, an avid Peyton Manning fan, came to the game, and clearly it was a publicity stunt. He came in, and then as soon as some Niners protested, which
The team that protests the most.
Colin Kaepernick played for the Niners last year, as soon as he saw the protest, then he leaves the game saying that our president, Donald Trump, advised him that if there was any sort of anthem protest that he needed to leave, and he did that.
Before he left, he told the pool reporters in the van to stay in the van because we won't be here long.
That's not all. He also had a previous engagement in Los Angeles at 6:30 for a fundraiser.
And then finally, we find out today that the NFL made a slick, sly change. Felt like a Spades game. Made a change to their anthem policy where
Cheese moving silence like lasagna.
well beforehand it was basically they said, you should stand and there could be consequences, and then the language got way stronger all of a sudden, and they talked about fines, suspensions, etc., etc., etc. All of these events, all of these topics, they all are going in the same pot here. And I guess, I think, I'll start with this, right? So here's what I think. You guys tell me what you think. I feel like the NFL wants this issue, as far as they are concerned as an organization, to go away. Advertisers are nervous. Ratings are down. You got Donald Trump involved, and he makes a lot of noise, so it creates unwanted attention, right? They want this to go away, and so you make the change to the anthem policy. You have Jerry Jones, one of your leading owners, probably the most notable owner, to come out and to take a strong stance. Roger Goodell sent out a memo, actually went out today, saying, hey, this is the deal. We want everybody to stand, and in exchange for standing, we are going to basically do the same thing that we do for breast cancer awareness. We're going to do the same sort of things for social issues. To me, it feels like it's all timing just to make this issue go away. Am I wrong in that? Am I missing something?
Not one bit.
Nope.
It's like they're going through the stages of grief. You got denial. you got anger, you have acceptance. You know, they're going like they thought if all the owners would go out and kneel before, then this will go away. If we don't hire Kaepernick, this will go away. If we threaten them now, this will go away. It won't go away. You can suspend Jamil for 2 weeks. She's gonna get a job somewhere.
Yep.
Somebody's gonna hire. MSNBC is hiring all liberals. She will get a job somewhere.
They will create a sports network for her.
For her. The problem is not going away, and that by trying to make it go away, you constantly make it worse.
So, Kev, let me ask you this: are you mad at Jerry Jones, or do you see it as he's just part of like what I said, just part of the ploy, or do you think Jerry Jones, something's up with him?
I'm not mad at him because he's not doing anything that I didn't expect. But I think to Omar's point, the owners are drawing a line in the sand to say, okay, we won't accept this anymore. And I think not just in football, but in basketball as well, in the NBA, this is a time for players to really show that they have the power. The NFL is 70% black. Most of the stars, let's be honest, most of the stars outside of the quarterback position, which is changing like we talked about earlier, are black players. If they decide, hey, we're not playing anymore, this entire concept gets blown out of the water.
Preach.
But they could also do this entire movement zero justice by when that line gets drawn in the sand saying, hey, I got to get mine. Because you got somebody like Kaepernick who risked everything to stand up for this. Jamel Hill, who for the second time told ESPN to go fuck off. And you saw her co-host Michael Smith had her back for the one show. And if anybody had a chance to watch the 6 early today, Sports Center, he was dry as could be. He wasn't excited to do the show. He looked like he was just reading off the teleprompter. And I think this is that moment where people really have to show what their power is, and they can't tell you what you can or can't do when people are paying to see you play, not an owner own a team.
Let me ask you this question, Dad. So, man, I feel bad for asking it because I don't even know if I really believe it, but I want to ask it because based off of what Kevin just said, it's a question that is begged to be asked. If Goodell is serious about saying, okay, in exchange, let's say there was a backdoor conversation, and okay, in exchange for you guys standing for the anthem, we will use our platform as an organization, the NFL, to raise awareness to the issues that are important to you. And the players go along with that. They agree with that. Because Kevin's point is, listen, and I understand it's a salient point. Now is the time to really take a stand, because now you're being called to the carpet. But if the NFL is actually committed to that, is that a bad thing for them to go along with what they ask in exchange for the NFL spending a month or using their big platform to raise awareness to the issues that they're protesting?
The thing that you said that's most poignant is spending a month. This is not a thing that can be fixed in a month. This is
neither. But neither is breast cancer or cancer. Period.
Right, but there's also foundations set up around the year to donate and that are, helping with not only breast cancer but cancer. Period. I mean, my life story tells that.
Yep.
My great grandmother helps with all of that shit.
Yep.
So my thing is this: I wouldn't acquiesce unless they did something first, because you're asking me to do something when you've shown no interest in helping to begin with. So if the owners actually take that step, I would put it back. I would counteroffer if that was the case and say, okay, well, show me what you're going to do before I do anything. Until then, I'm on my knee.
Les, you agree with that?
Yep. Completely.
Omar, you had a face. Talk to me.
Because the issue is they're offering shit, right? But the problem is we know good and goddamn well they don't give 1% iota care about any of this. They don't care one bit. They just want the problem to go away. Because when it happens, when you see a video of a black man running away from a cop unarmed, getting shot in the goddamn back, and you don't say a fucking word because all your players are black, and you don't say a word, now you want to throw money at the problem because you don't have a problem, because you want it to go away, that's the problem. You don't care about it. So, like, every week they throw a new thing at it, right? New wrinkle. This week I've read more times about how I can't if I go to work, I have to follow the rules. So if the rules are you have to stand for the anthem, then you just like I have to go to work and follow the rules. You should follow the rules. But you know what? The only thing I want to hear from people, the only thing I want to hear, you want me to listen to that bullshit about you going to work because we don't have the same job. So if we don't have the same job, don't compare apples to oranges.
That's right.
But the only thing I want to hear is when an unarmed black man gets shot on video, I want you to say, look, when I get put over by the police and I'm unarmed, I don't get shot and killed. So why do black people get shot and killed? Until you say that to every last one of them motherfuckers who complain, say that, they shouldn't play another goddamn game. Simple as that.
To your point, Omar, and this is what I will say. To your point, and we kind of alluded to it earlier. If you're okay with not taking a stance against drug abuse, and you got coaches doing dope, you got players, Jerry Jones specifically, who has routinely,
what was the house called?
White House.
It was called the White House.
The White House.
He has
with the white horse in front.
He has
Speak to us, Jerry.
He has enabled drug. Just Google Jerry Jones, Michael Irvin. Let's call some names out here. He has routinely enabled abhorrent behavior, domestic violence included in that. You've got a league that is okay with looking the other way with all of these other issues. And now all of a sudden, for something that affects society, that is an indictment, that is a black mark on this country, on this nation, the nation in which you've been able to create an organization as prosperous and as popular as the NFL, for you not to get behind that and to try to suppress it when you look the other way for all of these other vices.
It doesn't affect the bottom line.
And before we move,
It doesn't, but it's no. But the point is that it's no excuse.
No, it's never an excuse.
It's no excuse.
before we move on, if you were ready to move on, as a Chicago Bear fan,
Yep.
fuck you, Mike Dicker. And I
Hey,
mean that.
Hey, but think about it like this:
Come
all
see me.
all the owners in the league think just like Mike Dicker. Where's the oppression?
Well, let's take it a step further. There are a lot of white people in this country that think like Mike Dicker.
Yeah, he
and
just
for those of
gave
you
us
that and for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, the story broke, I think today or maybe even yesterday, and said that there hasn't been oppression. Black people haven't been oppressed, or there hasn't been oppression in America
in 100 years.
In 100 years.
That would be 1917.
So that either means that his math is bad.
I didn't know he was 100 years old to begin with.
But here's but here's the thing, though. I mean, we're not going to Mike Dicker for history, but the point is that sort of ignorance.
There was an 8-year-old kid who was lynched this year by his fellow students because he was biracial. They put a goddamn noose around his neck and made him swing.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Mike Dicker.
Kev, last word on it.
Yeah, you're right, Kenyon. And I think that's what Omar said and what you said is just proof that white supremacy makes no concessions. So we have no time. Athlete, teacher, principal, whoever you are, whatever you do in life, we can't toe the line now.
Biggest surprise.
Let's fight.
Biggest surprise in the NFL. We'll get it back to being on the field. We got the New York Jets, ladies and gentlemen, that are 3-2. They are tied for first in their division, and I'm pretty sure that in the same way how no one had the Giants being 0-5 at this point, no one had the Jets being in first place at 3-2. And then we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. I know Kevin is excited about this. They are also at 3-2. Biggest surprise to this point in the NFL. The Jets are the Jags. Junior Blue?
The Jets were tanking, and they're in first place. That's the biggest surprise. Period.
We thought the Jets were tanking.
No one told Bonnie Colvin.
Goodness
He said, "I got a Amsterdam for y'all."
They did. In their words, they did addition by subtraction,
And it didn't work.
It did work.
No, he's talking about the Jets, and they did work. Yeah, he's
Right,
talking about
right,
Sheldon Richardson.
Right, no, I'm saying they did that, but
If you talk to the
the
players,
intentions weren't to.
well, that's what everybody else was saying. The Jets felt like they knew what they were doing. If you talk to the players in that locker room, some of those veterans will say that's the best locker room they've ever been a part of as soon as he left.
And that's crazy because they were definitely headed down 0-16 and they're 3-2.
Battling for first place.
So no one says the Jags are a bigger surprise?
No.
No, the Jets are by far the biggest surprise.
Well, we knew the Jags were talented.
Yeah.
Because I told you guys a month ago they were going to win games. But I would say for the Jags, their season so far is the most impressive, and I think it's because who they beat. They blew the Texans out in Houston. They beat us Ravens in London.
Nah, they didn't just beat you. Tell the truth now.
Kenyon, you was asleep half the game, okay?
That's not what he was.
Truth teller. Tell the truth.
But no, they're halfway there, so hoping they get at least 6 wins.
We'll stay with records. And this is a real question. Hey, is Kansas City the best team in the NFL at 5-0?
At week 6 in the NFL, absolutely yes.
So that's a yes.
Agreed.
Yes.
There's no
Kevin?
There's no unequivocal. It's a yes.
Yeah, show me a weak spot on that team.
I think Atlanta beats them on a neutral field.
We don't know yet, but they have some really quality wins. They got the Pats, Eagles, Texans on the road. But But they really going to show us if they're going to shake their dick or not because their next 4 games.
Oh, hey.
Steelers,
Raiders, finding that transitional G spot.
Kevin,
finding that transitional G spot.
after the last 40 minutes, that's what was your line crosser?
Yeah, really. But
What they got?
Steelers this week. Then
Okay.
they turn around
Yes.
and play the Raiders on Thursday,
All right.
and then Broncos, and then at Cowboys.
I think that's a great point. Great point, Dad. We will know
We will know for
in
sure.
4 weeks.
I mean,
100%.
they are the team to beat.
I'm definitely not going that far. They may be the best team at 5-0 right now. Again, I maintain I would take the Falcons over them on a neutral field, maybe even the Panthers. They're a good team. I think to your point though, we will know more. We will know more in the next 4 weeks.
Please show up
Alex
Sunday.
Smith for MVP.
I'm with that.
You got
Absolutely.
King, I said you got it.
it.
He wasn't even.
We will.
I tried to reel him in a little bit.
You got it. We will land this train right here today. Adrian Peterson was traded. Okay. He signed with New Orleans in the offseason because, let's be real, he didn't have a fucking choice. No one else wanted him. And they didn't know, to their credit, that Alvin Kamara would be available to them. He was available. They drafted him. Alvin Kamara has been everything that they thought that he could be. Adrian Peterson has been useless. So they traded him to the Cardinals.
They cut CJ.
They did cut Chris
That
Johnson.
might be the
Damn,
most.
CJ 10K.
That might be the most ironic thing ever because he sent a tweet earlier this year saying AP needs more touches.
Hey, at
You got
your
it, buddy.
Hey, at your expense.
Jeez.
But here's the thing: he went to Arizona, where all great running backs die.
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
Edgerrin James, we looking at you.
Emmitt
Smith.
Emmitt Smith, we looking at you. Chris Johnson, we looking at you. So, newsworthy. This is for confirmation bias, Kevin. Newsworthy or nothing to see here. AP traded to the Cardinals.
It's newsworthy for Adrian Peterson because I didn't think he knew that the only force with more wins than cocaine was Father Time. And he met him this past year. He's got to hang it up, man.
You met him a couple years ago.
Redo, newsworthy, nothing to see.
Nothing to see here because it's a wrap.
For him and the Cardinals?
Yes.
Dad?
Nothing to see here.
Really? Less?
Nothing to see. It was a wrap for the Cardinals before
Doesn't
he
look
got
like
there.
doesn't look like anything to me.
It may have been newsworthy if it wasn't this week.
It's newsworthy for Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara.
Oh, that's funny.
And I just want to apologize to Mike Dicker. I should have said I'm disappointed in you. Fuck you.
If me and
I
Devin,
mean, because, you're
No.
ugly.
Well,
if
welcome
me
to
and-
our
listen,
plight.
Listen, me and Devin had to talk on Ray Lewis. You got to defend Mike Dick.
I ain't never had to defend Mike Dicker. Buddy Ryan, what it do?
Let's get to our Week 6 game picks and fantasy recommendations. We will start in the AFC East. Well, actually, before we do that, we made a big move this week.
We?
And by we, I mean me.
You still in the bottom. Bro.
I'm in the bottom, but it's closer now. Junior Blue is no longer in first place. Kevin, enjoy that
Hey,
first
guys.
place seat.
How long will it last?
We've got Kevin in first place at 45 wins. We got everybody else at 43 wins. But I'm coming along, me and Omar. I think by the end of the season, it's going to be you and I, buddy. What you think?
It will never be you and I. But we will be in the league.
But he want me to come to him, though.
Come on.
All right. We got our game picks. We've got the New England Patriots versus the New York Jets. You couldn't have told me for sure that this would be a battle for first place. Let's just cut right to the chase. Anybody got the Jets winning?
No.
Crickets.
No, huh?
31-17.
I mean, does anyone know who are the starting wide receivers for the Jets? Just putting it out there. Kevin? You? Redo?
I can Google it if you want.
Dad?
Nah.
Decker's in Tennessee, right?
He's they said it.
Brandon Marshall broke his ankle for the Giants.
Here's a name for you guys. Jermaine Kersey.
Jermaine Kearse.
Kersey?
Is it Kersey or Curse?
Is it spelled like
You
that?
don't even know.
And you researched it.
You so right about it. All right, Pittsburgh versus Kansas City. Interesting game. To Devin's point, this is the start of the truth tellers for Kansas City, whether or not they're legit. They go against Pittsburgh. Kev, who you got?
All day, baby. Chiefs all day.
All right, Redo.
I just can't follow that, but the Chiefs.
Dad.
I got Chiefs at home 34-23.
Okay, this is a rematch of a playoff game in which Pittsburgh won. Les, you still going with the Chiefs?
Chiefs. Didn't they win with all field goals?
They did. The Pittsburgh won with all field goals.
I'm going with the Chiefs.
I'm going with Pittsburgh. I like Pittsburgh to win. I think Big Ben responds big time.
In Kansas City?
They won in Kansas City in the playoffs. Yes,
This
actually.
is
not
a
the playoffs.
different Alex Smith.
Alex
though.
Smith
He
is
got
a
his hoodie
regular
mellow
season
on.
monster.
Lone Wolf, Pittsburgh. Carolina, Philadelphia, probably the best game of the weekend. It's actually a Thursday night game, which is unfortunate a little bit. I feel like on these short weeks, you're not going to get the best product. We all know that. But still an intriguing game nonetheless. You got Philadelphia. They had a prove-it game against Arizona at home. They did it. You know who didn't do it? The Rams. But we can keep going. Against Carolina at home, Cam rejuvenated. Who you got, Kev?
Well, the road teams are 4-1 this year on Thursday Night Football. So who's the road team?
Eagles.
Eagles.
I'm picking the Eagles.
Redo?
Carolina.
Carolina.
I'm going Panthers too.
Yeah?
Panthers.
I'm going Panthers as well. I don't trust Philadelphia to be that good to win on the road. I like your research, Kev. That was nice and cute.
High skinny.
Carolina, no deal. Fantasy recommendations. Let's go. Redo, who you got?
Shit. Kansas City.
The whole team.
Folks, that's called I didn't research it.
No. That's real spit.
Really?
Alex Smith
Kareem Hunt.
and Kelsey.
Okay. You sure? Because Travis Kelsey, he got knocked in the next week.
Is he not playing?
He couldn't remember.
If he's not in, then I'm gonna take what's his name? The receiver.
He's
what's his name?
winging it.
Speedy.
Oh, Tyreek Hill?
Tyreek.
So you really taking Kansas City?
Yeah.
Dad, who you got?
I just want to first apologize for last week in my picks. I picked Jameis, Stephon Diggs, and
Trash.
Powell.
Trash and trash.
Yeah, so this week we're gonna bring it home, baby. I got Breeze in the dome.
Okay.
Terrell Pryor versus the Niners.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And Hunt versus Steelers.
He felt some kind of way about that.
Les?
Deshaun Watson versus Cleveland.
Uh-huh.
DeAndre Hopkins versus Cleveland.
Okay.
And Devontae Freeman versus the Dolphins.
All
I
right.
thought she was gonna keep
Kev.
going with Cleveland.
Dev, I'm disappointed, man. America is about racism and second chances. Jameis Winston, back-to-back weeks against Arizona. I got Kareem Hunt against Pittsburgh and T.Y. Hilton against Tennessee.
All right. We thank you for visiting 32 Kings Row. We're going to get out of here. Again, follow us everywhere on social media. Our handle is @TheLeagueAM. Visit our website, theleagueam.com. Check out our YouTube channel, League Ambassadors. We will see you next week. Cheerio.
Cheers, mate.
We actually made it.
Oprah, Diddy, start your own NFL.
One more strike and you're out, Kenyon.
7 names, no games as I run it down the line. We got Kenny Ken, put 100 on the tees with the streak for the cash. He ESPN. Seth Curry with the shot. In reality, he's more like Seth, but he's all we got. Up next is Gentleman Jack, better known as Junior Blue. We told him not to do it anyway, but he did what he do. To his right is Devin, that dude, Eldad or Dirt Ass Dan. Just don't ask him a question, cause then he'll answer your question with another question, and then he'll add another question on top of that question. Damn. And I'm Red O, the Buck Wild Problem Child.
Flow Butter, aka John Cutter.
It's the league ambassadors, and we playing to win. At the 2-yard line, and make no mistake, we running it in.